Good morning, children. This is your computer teacher Amrita Banerjee. Children, in the last class, in the live class, we have discussed about the few data types which were character types of data. Okay, those were except in the alphabets. So we have studied about the different character types of data. Now, children, we will be studying about the data types which will be accepting whole numbers. That means which will be accepting the numeric data types. So children, in this, the very first we have, it is called tiny integer. Okay, so how do we write this? We write it as tiny int. So this data type, children, it accept the whole number of three spaces. That means you can enter 3 digits in this type of data type. Like you can enter 304 or 405 or 432. This way just 3 digit number is accepted in this tiny integer. The next data type we have, it is small int, and it is also accepting numeric data, but it is up to 5 spaces. That means now you can include the numbers of 10,000 digits, like means 58,209, 29,806. So 5 digit numbers are accepted in this small integer. Then we have integer data type, children. This can accept up to 10 digit of numbers. Okay, so this is meant for 10 digits and it is denoted by int. Then we have big int, children. This big int can accept integers of 19 digits. 19 spaces are allowed in this. Okay, after this, children, we have float data type. Now this float data type is actually meant to accept the numbers even with decimal values. So you can enter the numbers, okay, with decimal point as well, and that will be accepted in this float data type. And the length of this data type, it is accepting 17 digits. Okay, you can digit any number, any decimal number up to 17 digits, it is accepting. Then we have a real data type, children. This is also very much similar to your float, but its capacity is more than 17 digits. Suppose if anyone wants to enter such a number which is having even more decimal numbers, so it is possible using this real. Then we have a double data type, which is also again similar to this float and real as well, but it is having the space more than 17 and theoretically just double the amount. Okay, that means suppose some number is as in very big, like the whole number part is also very large and the decimal part is also very large, so it is capable of holding such a value. Okay, and double, as the number, as the name suggests, it is doubling the amount kind of. Okay, so it is very much useful for storing very large decimal numbers. So these are the data types which are accepting numeric data types for the whole numbers, children. Next we will be coming on to the data types, children, which will be accepting the fractions and decimals. Okay, so in this, children, first we have the numeric data type, and this can accept numbers and also numbers with decimal. Okay, and it can even set to handle the fractions. Even fractions are also allowed in this numeric data type. Okay, next one we have the decimal data type. So as the name suggests, it is primarily meant for the holding the numbers with the decimal places. Okay, so it can hold the number up to several decimal places. So these are the used for mainly the fraction and decimal data types. Then we have a date and time data type. So children, in date and time data type, the date data type, it is mainly made to accept the date formats. So we can give this date in any format, like first month, then date, then year, or we can give the date first, month afterwards, and then year. Any kind of format it can choose. Okay, so it is mainly to enter the date value. Then we have the time data type, children. It is set to give the time as the input. So the time can be given either in hours and minute, or you can give hours, minutes and second also, and they are supposed to be segregated using a colon sign. Fine. Then we have the date time data type children, that is called timestamp. Now this is meant to display your date and time together, combination of date and time. So this timestamp data type will accept your date and time data input together, and the format can be as per the system whatever it is accepting. Okay, so these are the date and time data types. Then we have some other data types as well, like we have boolean data type children. It is meant to set the input as either you will give yes or you will give no for this boolean kind of data type. Okay, then we have the image data type. To accept the images children, we have long var binary. Okay, so this is this kind of data type, you can input images. Okay, it is capable of processing the images, it will be accepting in images. Similarly, we have var binary. It is also kind of the data type which can accept any kind of binary codes. Okay, some encrypted codes, suppose you want to enter some confidential data, so using this var binary it is possible. Then we have this binary fixed, that is just binary, and it is very much similar to your var binary itself, but only difference is that it has some fixed length. Like var binary is more capable, it is having more spaces, but this binary binary data type, it is capable of just some limited spaces. Okay, then we have the other data type children. This other data type is actually meant to store anything and everything, like you can store image, you can store video, you can store sound, or any kind of SQL file or any file, Excel file. So that's why it has written that it is actually an all purpose sort of data type. Okay, so these are the different data types which we have over here in the database when we deal with database. Now children, the next topic we have, it is query. Now query is actually the question which you will put, okay, so that you will get an answer for your question. Okay, so children, for the query, what will happen, the table which you have entered, the query will be made on the basis of the table itself. Okay, the one basic table which will be drawn, on that basis of that only you will be making a query, and a condition or a criteria is specified with the query to view some selected record. Okay, so this way this query works children. I will just show you an example that how we can make a query. Suppose children, we have a table. Okay, and in this children we have students ID S01, S02. Suppose we have Shiva. Okay, we have Rajni, the name. Okay, and she is 15 years, she is 14 years. Then we may have a few more. Let us make this few more. We have, suppose S03, S04. Then we may have Vivek. Okay, now let us suppose that Vivek is also 15 years. Then we have Shalini. Let Shalini be also 15 years. So children, suppose I put a query. Okay, and my query is that I want the record, and in that record I want the ID field, I want the name field, and I want the age field. I want these three fields, and my condition is that the age should be equals to 14. Suppose this way I have put a query. Okay, now when I will place this query children, what will happen, in the desired student table we can find that there is only one record, that is S02 Rajni 14. We have only one record which is having the age 14. So when we will put this query, our solution will be, we will get this record S02 Rajni age 14. This way we will get our output. Okay, so this is how children this query actually works. We have to specify some condition as well when we are working with this query. Okay, so now children, in this picture you can see that query is always made on some table, and I will just zoom it and will show you how the table actually looks like. Okay, so over here you can see a table sort of. I guess it is not very clear, but this is the picture from your book itself. You can view in your book, and it is your page number 18. So based on such table only the query is made. And children, we can even make for the form view of the table. So form is an integrative interactive graphical object of the database that allow the user to enter, edit or view records from the table or a query table. So children, when you have this table, you can even ask for the form sort of output, like you want the form for the required table, so you can get that as well. And then you can even generate report as well. So mind it that either query or form or report, everything will be generated on the table which you have entered. Okay, so children, here you can see like this is one of the query made, that fields required are id, first name and last name, and from the table employee. So this was the query which was put. So what was the output it was getting? We got this, that id, employee first name and employee last name. This is what we have got as the output when a query is put. Okay, so this is how actually this works, children. Hope you have understood. This is how the query works. Now we will be moving on to our next slide. Our next slide will show how a form actually looks like. So children, when like over here we have learned that from the table we can make form also. So this is how our form actually looks like. Okay, this is are the different field names. Here we can have the id, we can have name, date and anything. So it will look like this. And here we have few buttons. We can add new value, we can delete, we can go to the previous record, we can go to the next record, and even we can close the form. So this is the form layout of any table. Then if you want to look to any data in form of reports, children, it will be generated in this report form. This is the report form, how the things are getting generated. So this is the way how the database gives us different view of the information which we have recorded. Okay, now children, our next topic is actually creating the database in database in LibreOffice Base. So this topic, children, we will be doing as in our next video. Okay, thank you so much.